All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got, I think, a treat for you. So if you have subscribed to our Black Congregation channel, you probably would recognize this sister here on the screen. We had did a commentary off of her video that she was kind of speaking about, people, kind of identifying 9 times out of 10, the mestizo looking Hispanic people not recognizing Black people as being Afro-Latino, Afro-Latina. And she was going in about that.
This is for Afro-descendant people that weren't born in the U.S. Don't you get annoyed when you get approached by these people and they ask you, like, where are you from? In my case, I say, I was born and raised in Colombia. I'm Colombian. And then they say, but what is your ethnic background? Because they want to know where's your skin coming from, right? And I say, well, I'm an Afro-Latina. Afro? No, you're not Afro. Really, honey? Don't let this hair fool you. That's my mom's. But where do you think these nostrils come from? Where do you think these lips come from? Where do you think the blackness of my knuckles come from? Where do you think the blackness of my elbow comes from? Honey, that's Africa.
And so I said, you know what? Let's invite this sister, on the show. She also gave some history, and we'll get to asking her the history, because a lot of people just, unfortunately, the American education system, we wasn't educated on anything. And we know this, those of us who have expanded our knowledge. So, Sister Tuti, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here in your channel and share my thoughts and my emotions as raw as they are.
All right, Tuti, so tell people just a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, where you come from. We want to know the whole story.
Okay, I am born and raised in Colombia. I am culturally a Colombian woman, born and raised like you wouldn't believe. But racially, I am an Afro-Latina. And that's how I like to go by.
All right. So you had mentioned in your video about, let's go back to the slave trade. You mentioned the biggest city that had the slave trade. Let's get there. Let's expand that history for us.
Okay. So I am from Cartagena, Colombia. Like I mentioned in my video, Cartagena was one of the epicenters of the slave trade in the Americas. So to get a little in touch on that, like back in the early 1600s, or maybe before, because as if you go back to history, we don't have the exact times and dates of when this whole thing started. But in Cartagena, a little before the 1600s, is when the slave trade is starting to happen in that side of the world. So by the 1600s, solid, Cartagena, Colombia was the epicenter of the slave trade in the Americas. And what do I mean when I say the epicenter? It's like every African ship that was coming to the Americas, it will stop in Cartagena, and whoever survived, it will be washed and sold there to the different parts of the Americas. So from there, they went to Brazil, mostly Brazil, because farther down they went more to Central America, and they arrived here in the U.S. If I am not mistaken, 1619, 1620s, 619, 620. Excuse me. Something that I love about being Colombian and being from the region that I am, the coastline from Cartagena, is that we are such a proud people, and we take our history and we show it to the world. So, and with that, we prevent it from happening again. It's like when I went to school, like one of my majors at school, because in school you have a major for you to graduate, was tourism. That was our major to graduate from high school. And I remember that our project was the history of our city. And the history of our city is all Black. This is how Cartagena came to be who we are. Like we are a city surrounded by the ocean with a wall that protects us from the pirates. And that wall was built with African slave blood, like with African people. You know what I mean? So we have a huge, I would say it's almost like I wouldn't say sanctuary, but it's a museum of the Inquisition. If you want to touch religion, that was the Inquisition in the name of Catholicism, one of the most horrendous things in the world. So that over there is exposed there. Like we have there in Cartagena, in el Museo de la Inquisición, in the Museum of Inquisition, and you will when you go there, that's one of the things that they brochure to you. They show you so you can see and you can learn. And you have all the artifacts that they use. They have pictures, and it's something that instead of making us embarrassed, it's gonna show us what happened. And with that, we're preventing from that to happen again. And we educate our people in what evil actually looks like, so we don't look for it anymore. So they will show you where the slave were sold, La Plaza de la Aduana, where the slave were sold, like washed and sold. The history behind how our Black women arrived. They arrived. I'm in my mother's house, so I can't even show you right now in my mother's apartment. But in my apartment, I have a beautiful Black lady with our autochthonal colors and dresses, and she has her eyes closed. And when you ask, why is this beautiful lady all dolled up, African lady with her eyes closed, it's because when they got out of the ships, they closed their eyes so they won't see where and to who they're gonna go with, so they won't find each other. It's mesmerizing. It's sickening to your stomach. It's sickening to your stomach to remember how horrible that was. But it's also awakening. It's awakening to see how it happened, why it happened, how we got here. If that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. But see, because the white supremacists in the let's say Colombia versus the white supremacists here in the Americas, they had a different type of relationship with y'all. For instance, in the Americas, if the slave master, I will use the word violate, not the other word on YouTube, but if you know what I mean by violate, if he violating the Black women, making all these children, these half Black children, they're like, oh, no, you not part of no white community here. You are a Negro. Go over there, right? But correct me if I'm wrong, with the Spanish, they kind of had a more of a kinship with that, because I know in DR it's kind of like that with some of this kinship to being Spanish, but could you kind of explain that? Because in the let's say in the Americas, you're like,
can you elaborate a little more when you mean like kinship? Can you elaborate?
Well, for instance, like you could be kind of part of the family. You be still considered Spanish versus here in the Americas, you're not considered white. You are Black. You are Negro. You are the N-word. Get over there.
No. And you know what happened? And you know where is the what I feel? It's like that we have taken all that degradation throughout like hundreds and hundreds of years. We haven't stepped up and say, you know what? I am Black. Like, I am Black. Do you see me? I am spectacular. I am amazing. I am strong. I am a feature that you cannot find in any other feature in the world. I am Black. And I am proud of it. And I think that we need to stand up to all these races and all these stereotypes that are just absolute by now. No, Hispanics didn't got any better treatment because we were conquered by Spanish or Portuguese, and you guys were conquered by English. They all come from the same one, and what they were looking for was taking what wasn't there, in the name of finding, I don't know, spices, because that was like the thing, like finding, we're gonna go find spices in the world. No, you're gonna go and take something that is not yours and appropriate it to you. It's very English-like. But no, we didn't got it. We didn't have it.
No, that's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying, that y'all got a better treatment than we had received. In other words, like the white man will not allow us to say that we're part white, like, or we're part this, versus let's say in Latin America, you have Black people say, well, I'm Spanish, you know, and to us, that's like, for us, how we hear it, it sounds like you saying, well, it'd be like a Black person say, well, shoot, I'm white. I'm part white. You know what I'm saying? Just the way the one drop rule thing here.
Culturally, and I think that's the mistake that is almost a communication mistake that is being done, because I'm assuming that when I say I am Hispanic, you know what I mean? Where are you from? I am Hispanic because I am Hispanic. I was conquered by Spaniards, and I was born and raised in Hispanoamerica, and that's a fact. So culturally, I'm Hispanic, but racially, I'm Afro-Latina. I mean, that's as clear as you know.
Yeah. I get that, but I'm saying that the concepts that a lot of Americans, grow up with, and how we're unfortunately miseducated.
Yeah.
That concept of ethnicity and race just really confuse a lot of Americans. I know you know that.
Yes, and Americans, and something that I've noticed about Americans is like, they always feel better if you have the upper hand of something, and that comes, and I'm telling you by experience, I come in all sides. Like, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it just the way I feel it.
Just bring it on out, bring it raw. That's what we do here.
The most racist people are the most white, uneducated ones. That they come
well, I'm surprised that you said that. Oh my God, I'm shocked.
And I'm talking about, I am talking about the most uneducated that come up to you and you think, like, do you need some help? Like, can I help you? Are the most like, oh my God, I'm white. And I'm like, okay, but do you need some help? So, and I feel that it's always kind of like this, a stratosphere, or I am better than. So I am lighter, even in the Black community, I am lighter than her. What? Like, you're Black, and like, I am Black. No, but I am American Black, and you are Hispanic. It's like, your hair is something that it just drives me nuts. You cannot tell me that you're Black. You don't suffer with your hair. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? We come in all.
Yes, I understand. That's unfortunately.
All sides of the spectrum.
Let's talk about that too. That's some of that diaspora warring that goes on sometimes. Once again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, because a lot of Americans, even within our own Black community, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who have not traveled. So they have not seen Black people except Black Americans, or what they kind of seen on TV. Maybe some African immigrants have come in, but having interactions. Because see, in America nowadays have more immigrants here than it had, let's say, when I was growing up, right? Yeah. I mean, more immigrants from all over the world. So now you're being exposed to more immigrants. And yes, people are starting to find out it's more than one kind of Black. Because like I say, you being Afro-Latina, yes. You have some Black people that say East Africans, that especially like the Ethiopians, Eritreans have a certain look.
Eritreans, yes.
Yeah, West Africans have a certain look. Certain people in the southern part of Africa have a look. Central, then you got your Caribbeans. It's all kind of cultures, that goes on. Like, some people didn't even know that Carnival is done in the Caribbean no different than it's done in Brazil.
Exactly. So it's something like, when you go to Cartagena, like 90% of our population is like me or darker than me, and we don't discriminate. They call me, hey negra. I wish I can show you the text message of my friend. Negra, what's going on, negra? ¿Qué? It's like, but it's like normal. There's no like, I am better than, I am I mean, we all the same. Our ancestors, suffered the exact same of brutality. Like, I don't understand where the separation come from, but I do, because it's programming our minds from hundreds and hundreds of years, that for you to be better, you have to be inside the house, not in the plantation. That for you to be better, you have to keep yourself a little more tight, and that you were better. For you to be better, you have to be around the white lady fixing the hair, not picking the cotton. It's a mindset that it must be absolute. We must, as Afro descendants, and I'm talking about worldwide, we have to wake up. We have to wake up and realize that what happened to us was heinous. It was a heinous act. It's history. It's horrible. We have to learn and grow from it, but we need to realize that we are together. We're one.
Let me ask you a question. Just a question. So we see in Colombia, you have your first Black vice president, Sister Francia Marquez, correct? Your vice president, Colombian.
Oh, yes. Yes, my vice president right
Yes,
now.
okay.
Yes, yes.
So Minister Louis Farrakhan one time said that in Latin America, you have a lot of black people, but black people don't run the countries. For instance, like you mentioned, Colombia has a lot of black people, but yet you have she's the first, right?
Yes.
Black, politician to get that high. You look at Brazil, by what, 51, 52% black, and yet the people that's the majority don't run the politics. Why is that?
Why do you run for politics? My question to you is like, why do you run for politics? Because you have popularity, right? Because you have knowledge. And in Latin America, believe it or not, because you have connections, right? So unfortunately, that happens across the world, if that makes sense. So instead of why that hasn't happened, I will say, let's get more education, let's get more contact, let's get more awareness, and let's put our best candidates out there. So we have absolutely no way to not get to those positions. That's the way I want to think about.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Growing up, how are black people treated in Colombia?
How are black people treated in Colombia? I am from the coastline. So in the coastline, I didn't have any problem. I don't experience racism. In my city, I'm from Cartagena. It's the #1 tourist city in my country.
I've heard of that, especially with the passport bro movement. They go a lot over there.
Yes, it's the #1 tourist city. You don't see, if we all look the same. If you go to El Chocó, la zona pacífica, the Pacific side of the country, people are darker than me. I don't ever experience racism in my city.
So you say you experience probably more racism in America than in Colombia?
1000%. Coming from all sides of the spectrum, coming from white people and coming from black people.
Okay, let's cover both of them, because let's have them conversations. Okay, when you first got here, what was your first experience with racism from white people?
For instance, I married my ex-husband was appear white, but he was, Mexican and Irish. So with a very Mexican father. So I mean, it's very common. It's very common in Colombia to have mixed races. I mean, you don't even look at it because it's very, very super common.
Right.
So I was happy. I got married, and then I am walking in a convenience store, in the grocery store, a very particular grocery store, and I was pregnant at a time, and he was coming with next to me, and this lady gave me the most disgust look in her face, like she wouldn't believe, like, what? And I thought that was my first, like, what? That wasn't like a you are not nice type of look. That's like, you're disgusting, what are you doing type of look. So the second time, I am in a store, a very popular store in America. So I am just buying clothes, just hanging out, buying some items. And then this white lady come up to me and she's like, so what are you? Like I'm some sort of animal? Like what
yeah, that sounds like them to ask a dumb question like that.
Like, what are you? And I looked at her. By then I have, and I speak my mind, as you can tell. By then I'm like, I am a human, just like you. Don't you see my 2 eyes and my 2 hands? I know, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm Colombian, if that's what you're talking about. If that's what you asked me. No, you're not Colombian. So, because the stereotype of Colombian, of Hispanic, is the one that you see in Univision, in Telemundo. In that one is the Shakiras and the Sofia Vergara's that are amazing girls, talented, beautiful, gorgeous. Actually, from both of them are from 2 hours from.
That's why I said mestizo.
Yes. So no, you're not Colombian. And I'm like, and I looked at her and it's like, so according to you, how a Colombian look like? Just like that. So I think it's extremely ignorance. That's from the white side. And then from the black side, I am never good enough. My hair is not thick enough. My skin is not dark enough. My nose is not wide enough. I'm just not good enough. So where do I fit, Kelvin? You tell me about it, because I grow up.
Well, you know, like I've heard it. I heard that commentary before, and I know that people have said that, at least in America, some, not all, and I would definitely say some, not all, because I'm not even like that. That they try to measure blackness, and most of the people that try to measure blackness like that, if you talk to them long enough, they haven't left their neighborhood, they haven't left the state. They haven't left the country. They haven't really seen other black people other than who they ran into. And because in their mind, they feel a black person is a dark-skinned black person with 4C hair, wide nose, you know, thick lips, basically a West African, a phenotypical West African.
And and if you go that, how an Eritrea woman looks like?
Well, for them, I'll give you an example. Sister Wangel. Well, let me give example. Sister Wangel, she's one of our journalists here. She's Ethiopian. When she first started to come here, like she did an interview like you done at first, and then she later became a journalist here. People say the same thing about her. Who is she? She's not black. She's not this. She's not that. Well, they don't say that no more because they've been seeing her at least for the past 2 years. Right. And she has responded just like you, like, no, I'm black. When these white people come to Ethiopia and try to destabilize my country, that they don't do that to white people, you know. So she always defended, you know, herself, and they don't say nothing no more. They used to seeing her. But unfortunately, like that goes back to what I have to say. Through our platform, we want to have black people of all demographics, right? Just so we can even know our own people, because the fact is we don't know our own people. That's really what it is.
Exactly. I said something. I write just sporadically, and then I remember I say something along the lines. It's like our skin, the white evil diluted our skin so much that we can barely recognize each other. Along those lines, I have to go back and see it. And I think instead of putting each other back and looking for reasons why she's not like me, we have to look at each other and then say, look how she's just like me, instead of how she's just not like me. Because it's really insulting. It's very insulting, and I have to speak on it because it's hurtful and insulting. It's almost like identity theft. Like I grew up all my entire life being black in Cartagena, Colombia. My entire life. Like I've never once my friends who have like more textured hair will deny the fact that I am the same, or the ones that were darker or lighter than me would deny the fact that we were the same. And then to come to a country and then flat, like somebody look at you and tell you no, or insult you because you're calling yourself black is.
Well, for me, if you never said a word, you just stayed quiet, didn't even speak. How would you tell that you are different than anybody else unless you open your mouth? Same thing when I go to the continent of Africa. When I've been to Ethiopia, I've been to Kenya, I've been to South Africa, you know, and if I just stay quiet, never say anything, they wouldn't know I'm an American. They wouldn't know until I spoke.
So why are you gonna be so triggered and don't deny the other person their identity when they say, oh, I'm Afro-Latina, and be like, because of what? Because of my features? Well, my mother is indigenous.
Well, and some of it, like I say, a lot of it's ignorance.
Okay,
Let me ask you a real question, because I got to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Who has gave you more problems, the women or the men?
The women.
Do I need to really go there? Because the women compete with each other all day for men and all of that, and I knew it was women.
God.
I knew it was women when you said it. I knew it.
Oh my God, women, yeah, the one that give me more. And don't dare to, if you even dare to say that Michael B. Jordan is fine, and you will love to, like, oh my God, he's so fine. Everybody was like, you're not. It's like, what? Because you haven't suffered as much as we have suffered. You can just come over here and take our money. It's like, why are you talking about woman?
Wait. That the same Michael B. Jordan that recently, I don't know if you've seen the interview where the woman that was about to interview him called him corny in school. And he said, yeah, you had called me corny in school. I called you corny. Yep, you called me corny. And I'm gonna do a whole separate thing about that. But yeah, the same guy. Yeah, today they want him. But in high school, he was corny.
No, I mean, listen. There is a good saying. It's like at school, you always have to keep an eye on the nerds and on the corny one, because those are the ones that are gonna, go out there and kill it.
See, Tuti, see, but in America, unfortunately, we have these stereotypes of the thug or Pookie. We call them Pookie and Ray Rays, or the Dusty DeAndres. That's the ones that get all of the women at when you like the high school, the young, to get pregnant by them, and then later they want the nerdy guy, the corny guy after he's successful, but they already had kids already.
Nope. No, over there is the opposite. You see,
Okay, so hold on.
Education is backwards. What's going on here?
Okay, so you're telling me that in Colombian culture, and we talking about also Black Colombian culture, that y'all are taught to go after the dudes, like you said, that's nerdy, corny.
That's the smart guy. That's the smart kid. That's the one that you can go and learn from, and he can help you with the test, and then that's the one that start working out after, and then you're like, oh my God, what the heck? I'm golden over here from the beginning. But first of all, Colombian parents, like Hispanic parents in general, are very strict. So don't you dare to show up with somebody over there who doesn't, who's gonna embarrass the family. So if the little skater boys, sorry skater boys, that would be, my mother would be like, that's a big no. If there is smoke nicotine out, because over there, cannabis is not legal. So you smoking early, forget about it.
So let me ask you a question. So shame is really strong in Colombia.
Very.
See, at one point in time in Black America, we had strong shame. I mean, you couldn't do a whole lot of things because you would be shamed by the family. Sometimes you can be kicked out by the family, right?
No, you cannot embarrass the family name.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It's like you are, until now. Like right now, social media have made things a little better. But right now, like for instance, like you cannot sleep outside of your house with your boyfriend. You go on a trip, he's coming with us. He can come, you can sleep in the other, but that's a big no. That's no. If you sleep over with, and well, I just turned 40, so that I'm talking about like I haven't lived over there in 17 years. But if you sleep over and you didn't come home, and that was considered, now you have to take her.
Whoa!
Now she's yours.
Interesting. So hold on.
Now she's yours. That's just your responsibility.
Okay. So if the girl, if the man or the woman that they got boyfriend, girlfriend, one time they say, oh nope, she yours now. Yes. Go over there.
Yes, and then that's why she's gonna end up living at his mother's house until he.
Oh wow.
Okay. It's very strict. So
very strict. Okay.
You're gonna talk about like. No, it's when it comes, it's very strict.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Everything you telling me, I love Colombian culture, because that culture to me is so much better than the crap we got in America right now. So much better.
I love my culture, and dating, for instance, like I made a podcast about dating and stuff, and it's like they ask like, why is so many Americans, if you go, it's like there's so many Americans and Europeans going to Colombia to find wives, going to get married. I mean, that's quite common, right? I am not like, you can Google that out. I think.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know because okay, now we're gonna go there. The passport bro movement, right? A lot of them have been going to Cartagena, right? A lot of them, and they saying that they want. I'll even interview the guy. He married a woman from over there. He's still there now. It was 6 years over there.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is basically, and what men could listen to this who want wives, who don't want dealing with all the Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion antics with modern women in America. That unfortunately is here. So you brothers, according to what Tuti is saying, you can go to her town in Colombia.
Cartagena, go to Cartagena, Colombia.
All right. He said you can get you a wife from over there.
Listen, I want to tell you something about our women. We and I don't know this. I don't want to, hurt any susceptibilities out there. I'm speaking my mind from my experience and from what I am. Like, we're very strong women, very strong. We hold the household. We know everything that happens, but we understand something, that you are a woman in all the sense of the word, that you're strong and you hold the household, but you're a woman. Because the masculinity, you have to shine through him. If that makes sense. So
makes perfect sense.
So we have found a good nurture and discipline balance. If that makes sense. So we're disciplined when reinforcing our boundaries. Very close when raising our family and our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that in all Hispanic culture.
Well, let me ask you, I got a few questions, just a few questions. So you mean to tell me cooking is not slavery?
I mean, I love cooking. First of all,
Colombian culture, is cooking slavery?
No, I mean, we cook all the time.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. So if you have a husband and he's a good man, he's working, he's providing, is submitting to your husband, is that slavery?
Submitting to him. I will submit to my husband if he is masculine enough for me to trust him to lead me.
Well, did you hear the question I said? I said if he is a working man, provider, he's doing what a man's supposed to do. I never tell a woman to submit to a dusty guy. No,
we are submissive by nature, and I want everybody to understand this. We are submissive by nature. Like, having to carry the load of life of everybody and kids and family and household and pets and full-time job, that is stressful. That is hard. And that has hardened our hearts. That have made us get out of our nature because they have been forced to be like that, because they have been played, berated, left behind, let down, disrespected, not being taken care of, humiliated. And you have no other way that you need to just stand up for yourself and become the lioness that you are there. But if I have a nurtured husband, a respectful man, a man that takes care of our family, and I'm talking about our family, I'm not talking about monetarily, because this is 2023. I make as much money. You know what I mean? This is not that. But if I found somebody that he's able and willing and loving to do all of that and be a partner, I don't have to do that. Let me take care of the house. Let me take care of my career. Let me take care of our kids. Let me see where we can go on vacation. Let me take care of that stuff. You deal with the rest of the stuff. I don't have to do that. I don't have to, because I have a leader, somebody that I can lean on. But if I don't have that person, I have to be both. I have to be the male energy, and I don't have time to be the feminine energy that I am.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But a lot of these men that's traveling and definitely going to, Cartagena, a lot of them, where should they not go? Could they to find a wife? Not no little females that's out here that's walking the stroll. But where can they go actually in Cartagena and say, look, go over here, this is where the wives are at? Where should they go?
in Cartagena, where do the wives are? I don't know. We're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're the supermarket and the things that, you know, it's just, and they're everywhere. They're the supermarket. There are the libraries. They are the restaurant. They're walking around the city. They're in Cartagena. They're everywhere, and it's like, I mean, Colombian women is just, not to brag, but there is a fine balance between nurture and discipline. Is a woman that she is a lioness. You do not go past her, but she's just a gentle soul that is very family oriented. Families first, values are first. We're, sorry to mention religion, but we're very Catholic country, a very Catholic country. So with those Catholic values come a lot of structure and a lot of respect. You know, we respect our all elders. You know, that's something that I when I came here, I'm like, what? Like,
yeah, they don't respect elders here.
No!
I remember last time I was in Kenya.
No,
because even in the African continent, it's a lot of respect for elders. I was in Kenya, and I seen how they respect the elders so much. But you come to this country,
you may
night
not.
and day. Like, they held an elderly man. I think he was in JFK, and my wife pointed it out to me, and she was like, "Hey, go help that man," because like nobody's trying to help him. Like, he was an older man trying to walk with a cane and his bag, and like they just like, they're straight savages here. Unfortunately, I'm gonna use the term savages.
But there's no like conservative values, and I am not talking about politics.
Yeah,
the politics are out of the way, but there's no conservative values. The family unit start with our elders. They set everything for us to fall under, right? So one thing that I don't understand is like how disrespectful like kids are to elder people. Oh my God, you may not. Like in Colombia, like even if it like look like you look in their eyes defiant, you may not. Like me, like if my grandmother would have been alive, oh, I may not. Like, yes, ma'am. Yes. If I did something, say yes. Yes, ma'am. But for me to do this, like, yes, ma'am, and look at her eyes, that is defiant. Like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes. Even if you're gonna go and do whatever, but to her, you owe her that respect. My mother, listen, I just turned 40 yesterday. I am a whole divorced woman with in a whole new relationship with a 16-year-old daughter. My mother tells me the sky is purple, and I would tell her, yes, ma'am, the sky is purple. Yeah, you do not pass by that. And something that I saw here that is so sad, is very, very sad, is the disrespect that the young have for the elders and how we don't honor their life all the way to the end. Like, nope. we feel that our elders are they're just like, it's just so annoying. Take care of grandma.
Yeah, they are. Actually, in this country, they get annoyed with elders. They especially in our community, they have a thing. Oh, you old. Like, I don't hear you because you old. Like, and then when I hear them say that, I'm like, well, you know what? If you don't want to be old, well, maybe you'll just die at your age you are now. You never have to get old, because according to the scriptures, getting older and seeing later years is a blessing.
You made it. You're wise. You have gathered all the steps to earn the years that you have. You can teach. You can enlighten people. You have a level of wiseness that a 15-year-old doesn't have. And something I feel that is so sad here in America is how Americans don't honor. And when I'm telling you, honor the life of your elders all the way to the end. Like in Colombia, grandma and grandpa, they die at home. At home. Like, unless that is like some horrible disease or a really freaky accident that ended in the hospital. But grandma and grandpa die home, at home, with your family, with all your loved ones. That's it. For you to go to, we don't have. It's very, very few institutions that have like elder homes, like, elderly homes, like placements. we don't have much of that, because you end up with your loved ones. Your family is with you the entire time, all the way to the end. Like grandma, like if you have a party and you don't have a wheelchair, you like, I live in the coastline, so we have those rocking chairs. So if you go to a party, you bring grandma in the rocking chair. It's like your cousins are lifting grandma in the rocking chair and placing grandma over there. It's comical, but it's not. It's like, no, all the way to the end. Like, that's your mom, that's your dad, that's your grandpa, that's your grandma. You know, that's abuelita and abuelito. You don't know, you don't mess with them. And trust me, you don't want to mess with them, because they, all the way to the end, they leave our earth with the honor that they came. Like grandma and grandpa, and it's something that it's probably due to culture, you know, the loneliness in these homes, these placements, you know, the loneliness and the sadness that you see in their eyes, you know, and mind full of dementia, remembering amazing memories, so many kids and grandkids, and today you don't have anything around you, and you have a whole bunch of strangers that are in the same circumstances that you. No, we are completely different. Grandpa and grandma, you know, they die at home.
So let me ask you a question. Since you see how toxic, because I'm a Black American born and raised here in America, and I see the toxicity of it. And every time that we go to the African continent, we just be so happy and at peace, right? And a lot of the culture you mentioned in there is also in the African continent. So are you planning eventually to go back to Cartagena, or are you going to stay here?
I actually own property over there, so I go over there every year.
Okay, but I'm talking about, are you gonna eventually just like, you know what, I'm done with America. I'll come visit, but I'm done.
Probably when I retire. Probably I already told my partner. I said, like, because it's like, oh, it's difficult, like raising kids with this mindset, the mindset that I have, and see, you know, school, for instance, like. I have a daughter, biracial daughter, and you ask her, I mean, tell me what is your nationality, and she will say, yeah, I am Colombian, born in America. And then she will tell you, and the story and all that, and something that I transpired to her, because I am so proud, and she's been with me traveling and doing charitable work all over the place. So she's seen it. And she's so proud. That's something that she's so proud of it. And our family is so proud of it. Our culture, where we come from. But here, like, you have to take that on your own. And I don't like that. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. It's like, it's almost like denying that I exist. No, you know what I mean? So that is difficult. The way, the boundaries that are set with our youth are to relax, I would say.
Well, that's what I say about that. We live in a society now where people could claim a bunch of genders that they're not and everything else. So you should be able to easily claim, say you're Colombian and you're Black, right?
Yes. Well, we are not as open. We just
exactly. But you know, like I said, you know.
Listen, I respect every category. I am a woman of love. I love everybody, LGBTQ plus and all.
Oh well, I wasn't. The reason why I mentioned that is because in America, people say all this, what they are, what they not. They got all these different movements. But so why are somebody freaking out when somebody say, well, no, I'm Afro Latino? What? I said, but you accept this person saying that they're a different gender or whatever. That's why I was going with it. I wasn't trying to go too far down that route.
Let me just tell you, it's like we are just it's a country that is very conservative, and we are just starting, you know, within the last 10 years, I will say, starting to open up into acceptance. And yes, we are learning, and with knowledge comes pain. So we're learning, and we're, you know, healing ourselves for that pre-judgment that we have. But I am not gonna tell you that if my child comes to me and tell me that she want me to call her cat, I am going to say yes because you purred and you have fur.
Right.
That's just
Well,
not
this is what I'll say about that. You know, that particular situation. You know, I'm a person. I'm a traditionalist. I'm very conservative, and most Black people are conservative in their upbringing. Is just unfortunately in America they don't vote that way. But or even most Black countries throughout the world have a conservative value. I just kind of take the position of the former president of Kenya, President Kenyatta, that whatever Black country it is, they have so many issues they need to be focused on. That's just not one of them we need to be focused on. And it's true because people need jobs, people need a place to stay, infrastructure need to be fixed, healthcare. There's so many different things that need to be fixed that's going to help everybody, not a small section of people.
Life and don't feel threatened when you go outside.
Yeah. I mean, so many different things that can be fixed in any community, right? I mean, people do what they want to do, fine. But let's just focus on what matters. For me, I say this. Let's just try to get the people together in the community, get the education like we talked about earlier. And if I think we can focus and build platforms on that, that's most of my focus. What people do in their bedroom, yeah, nothing to do with me.
That have nothing to do with me. That have nothing to do with me. But I want to tell you something. We're very conservative. We are very, very conservative. And you know, if you have a 5-year-old that, you know, is asking you to wear dresses, mom is gonna be like, honey, you wear pants. You don't wear dresses. Your little sister wear dresses. You're only 4 years old. You know what I mean? So we also don't opened how I say it without hurting feelings.
Well, let me. I know what you kind of say, but let me.
We don't open an avenue for.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're going with. Y'all don't provide an environment for that kind of thing
to confuse anybody.
Yeah. You know, I know exactly. And plus, you say you're Catholic, so people that it's a Catholic society or you're Islamic, you don't provide that kind of environment. If you're Orthodox Christian, you don't provide that kind of environment. It's just America has descended into wickedness. And I call this place literally Babylon. That's what it is. That's why when I leave this place, I'm so happy because I'm away from this wickedness that go on here. And it's not just one thing. It's a bunch of things because all this, I can just lay down with any man or woman the first day I meet them deal. You know, it's so much wickedness, the drugs, the like you say, the don't respecting the elders, you know, so many different things that just horrible in this society. It's chaos. So, you know, for me, it's not just one issue, it's a bunch of them.
Yeah, you're right. But I think that things are not gonna get better if we don't get a hold of our household, if we don't get hold of our boundaries, our family nucleus, that respect those values, but those traditional values, like, because those are the ones that have kept the same generation sane, right? I am so happy, and to be honest, I am so happy that I was raised the way I was raised. I am so happy of raising my daughter the way she's been raised. Like, you're not gonna call me and tell me like, oh, I'm gonna have a sleepover, you pick me up the next day, or you're gonna, oh yeah, I'm just gonna stay over here and pick me up at the end of the weekend. Like, what? Are you crazy? No, excuse you.
I'm the same way. I don't believe in that. See, I'm the type of person, I'm very overprotective.
No,
you know, when it comes to my children.
Listen, no. I am not even gonna give you an avenue for that. Like, what are you talking about? You can do that. You can do that when you pay your own bills. Like, if you want, like I told my daughter once, you know what I mean? Because she asked me to be she told me that I was too strict. Because so and so they sleep over, they do this, they do that, and they have dating, they have and I'm like, okay, let's do something. You know, over here in this country that you were born, they have such a thing as emancipation, right? So if you would like, your father and I, we go in and we emancipate you, and then you will do as you please. But with that comes responsibility. So you will go to school, or if you don't want to go to school, you don't go to school. but you will pay for yourself. You will find the bus schedule because you're not driving any of my cars or your dad's. So you find yourself a little job that we can pay for the bus stop so you can go get a job. And if you don't have time to study, then listen, then you're going to start working until you are able to pay for your own. But there's no TV, there's no benefits, there's no nothing. Because I am legally responsible for you in one hand. And in the other hand, I am valuable, responsive for you. So you're not going to get me in trouble in the country, and you're not going to embarrass my family name. So those are my reasons for me to go with you to the court, and let's go emancipate you, girl.
Well, basically what you just said was something that we used to practice in our community. Basically, my house, my rules. You don't like it, get out. Now, I have a cousin Edna. Never forget cousin Edna. May she rest in peace. One of her children was acting up, and she had to get the belt, and she had to whip him for acting up. And he said, "I'm gonna call the police on you." And she said, "You know what? You call that white man to my house, I'm gonna give you $20, and I'm gonna tell him take you with him. It's like, as long as you live in my house, if you act up, I'm gonna whip you." Because see, the old people didn't play that in the Black community. It's just this new age stuff. Trust me, this stuff you see in the day, this is new. This is not how we have been ever since we've been in America, all the way up into this recent time. That's not been our people, not at all. This after 2005, I'm gonna say, it's like everybody just went crazy.
And in my case, I say, you know what? Instead of, okay, you out of here, I am not kicking you out. I'm giving you options. So the option that I give you is like, you focus on school, you respect the rules of our family nucleo, because her father and I are divorced, but we are a family nucleo, and we are best friends, and we are there. And he knows that. He always say, go talk to your mother. I don't want just go talk to your mom. So you respect our family nucleo, you respect our family name, and you focus on school, or you can do all of that on your own. Those are the two options, because we always have options in life. We always have options in life. There's never only one thing. So those were your options. You got it right there.
And there you go. And definitely. So Tuti, tell people how they can get to your TikTok or any other Instagram that you may have, just in case they may want to follow you.
So guys, thank you for listening. And I hope I didn't, offend anybody. And if I did, just take it with a grain of salt. I'm coming from a completely different culture, trying to learn your culture. And I'm Black. Please stop calling me mestizo. It's so irritated. And you can find me at Tell Off with Tuti, in Instagram, Tell Off with Tuti, or you can find me on TikTok of Tell Off with Tuti. And I also have a podcast called Tell Off with Tuti, and that you can find in every mainstream.
All right, Tuti, well, thank you very much for, joining us, today and getting to know you. And you definitely dropped some jewels that we definitely needed to hear, and some education as well. So we appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Karen, for having me. It was a pleasure.